So when you talk about fused heterocycles, basically we can divide them into two types. Okay, so you can probably guess what are those two types. One is of course carbocycle plus heterocycle, and of course the second is heterocycle plus heterocycle. So we are going to look at the nomenclature. We are going to revise the nomenclature under these two headings. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, what makes this? How many of you find this nomenclature little bit confusing or challenging as compared to normal heterocycles? Can you tell me? Or have you understood this very well? If that is the case,
No,
you can
sir.
tell me that.
Confused. Confused. There's
Okay,
so many.
so many, that's okay. But uh, anyone else, or you have understood it? If you have understood, it's fine, no issues. Hello? You cannot raise hands, I cannot see that. So if you raise hands, I cannot see. You have to talk.
So confused.
Okay. So I can guess what's the source of confusion a little bit, having gone through this nomenclature, learning this nomenclature myself. The main point of confusion is that you have to number it twice. So 2 times you have to give numbers in this particular heterocyclic nomenclature, right? So at the outset only, let me tell you what these two numberings are, so that when we start looking at examples, your confusion hopefully will be sorted. So can someone tell me what are these two numberings that we do in this type of heterocycle?
One we do with the base and attached component, I remember, and then the whole molecule, I
So
guess.
the first numbering is employed to define the fused ring system itself. Okay, so the first numbering is used to define fused ring system. Okay, and the second numbering is basically used for substituents, as well as you must have come across 1H, 2H, something like that, right? The position of hydrogens. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
that is what makes this bicyclic nomenclature little bit confusing. That is, first you give the numbering to define the ring system itself, and then you look at the substituents. Okay, so keep this in mind before we go ahead, that these are the two types of numberings we are going to look at. Is that okay? So let's go ahead with the first type of nomenclature, which is like carbocycle plus heterocycle. Now let's take simple example. I know you know the common name hopefully by this time. Anyone can tell me the common name?
1H indole.
1H indole, okay, or simply indole. So common name is indole. Okay. Now if you want to define the IUPAC name of this fused ring, not giving it a trivial name, all right. So first thing you have to remember is that in your mind you have to determine which is the major ring and which is the minor ring. So in this case it becomes very simple. The ring containing heterocycle is always your major ring, and ring which is carbocycle is always your minor ring. So that is the simple thing to determine here in this particular category. Let me repeat again. Whenever you are talking about this type of system, which is made up of carbocycle and heterocycle, the major ring is always the heterocyclic ring and the minor ring is always the carbocyclic ring. Okay, so that makes it easier. So the other thing you have to consider is that the minor ring is considered as a substituent on major ring. Okay, and whenever we talk about substituent, let's say halogen, what we describe halogen substituent as halo, right? If it is a chloro substituent, it is chloro, something like that, right? So in similar way, this minor ring is considered as a substituent. So first thing you have to do is you have to cut these bicyclic ring into two parts. Observe carefully that I am cutting it exactly like it is. The position of double bond is maintained, right? So this is a benzene ring and this is a pyrrole ring, right? Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, say as I told you, since this carbocyclic ring is considered as a substituent, you can call it as benzo. And since this is a basic ring, you can retain pyrrole. Okay. Now the trick is to define where they are attached to each other. Okay. So basically the next thing is to define where these two rings are attached, right? So two types of numbering are followed. One is numerical, one is alphabetical here. I hope you remember this. Two types of numbering are followed. One is numerical, one is alphabetical. So numerical nomenclature or numerical system is followed for minor ring and alphabetical is followed for major ring. Okay. Now let's look at the numerical nomenclature first. What is the consideration that we take when we define numbers for minor ring? Anyone remembers? Anyone?
So can you repeat?
So whenever we are assigning numbers to this minor ring, what is the thing that we take into consideration?
Bridge atom should be given least numbering.
Least priority, correct. So now this is a benzene ring. So where will the numbering start from? The bridge itself, correct? So I can start numbering here only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So that bridge is getting 1 and 2. Is that correct? Everyone? Is that fine?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you are defining the major ring, you are actually defining the bonds. Since you have given number once, if you give another number, it will become confusing, correct? So, whenever you are talking about a major ring, you are describing the bonds by alphabet, like ABCD, right? Now, again, following the same thing, we are going to define the bonds in such a way that the bridge atoms get lowest alphabet. So if you start with this A here, B here, C, D and E. Is that correct? So if you go clockwise in this particular direction, the bridge is getting the lowest alphabet. Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Like if we start anti-clockwise,
Yes, sir.
what will be the alphabet that bridge will be getting?
D.
D. So what will be preferred? The alphabet B will be preferred over D, right? So in this case, we are going to go clockwise like this when we are defining the bonds. Is that okay? So combining the two, we get the name benzo 1, 2 dash B pyrrole. Okay. Is that fine? Everyone, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, once you have defined this particular system, you can keep whatever numbering we have done here aside. Okay. And you can think about the ring itself. Let me draw the ring once again. So this is the trick I think you can follow in order to avoid the confusion of second numbering. Okay. So the trick is, once you have defined this particular system, you can forget about this particular numbering. Are you with me as of now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And
Okay.
then
Yes,
we
sir.
move on to the second numbering, which is we want to define position of this hydrogen. Now, since there is no other substituent, we have to define position of this hydrogen. Now, the trick of starting the nomenclature or numbering is that you have to identify, or you have to start the numbering from this tertiary carbons, either of the two. Is that okay? So these are the two tertiary carbons in this particular system, and you have to start numbering besides the tertiary carbon. Okay. So if you consider this particular system, we can start numbering from this nitrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, sometimes this bridge carbons can get alphabet A and B, A, something like that. So this will be called 7A. This can be called 3A, something like that. So you need not define it all the time. Is that okay? What we are looking for is this position of hydrogen. Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
now you can see that nitrogen is at first position. So you can add 1H before the name. Or sometimes people also see benzo want to be 1H pyrrole. That is also okay. So there are different systems. As long as you are doing this 1H correctly, I don't think you should lose any marks. Is that okay?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, sir.
you can see here that whenever it is going to be benzene ring, bridge is always going to get 1 and 2 number. Are you agreeing with this statement? Whenever there is a carbocyclic ring, the bridge is always going to get 1 and 2 numbers. So in this particular system, even if you skip the alphabets and just write benzo B pyrrole, it is still acceptable. Is that okay? So all you have to define is the alphabets, because benzene is almost always is going to get 1 and 2 number, because it is a carbocyclic ring. There is no heterocycle involved, right? So bridge is always going to get 1, 2. So whenever you are talking about this particular combination of carbocycle and heterocycle, you can skip this numbering if you want. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, now let's see
Yes.
another example, and let's see if you can name it. I think you will be able to do it. So it is benzimidazole now. That is a common name, but can you define the IUPAC name? So again, follow the same trick. Cut the ring into two. Draw the two different parts. Draw exactly as the arrangement of double bond is. So this is benzo. You can draw some bracket here, and imidazole. So what is the numbering here? Which alphabet is coming here? Anyone?
D.
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 Correct. Correct. It's D. So now look at this particular ring, imidazole ring. Okay, you have two nitrogens from where you can start numbering the bonds. So I can go clockwise way, or I can go anti-clockwise way. Is that correct? But fortunately for you, in whatever way you go, this bond or the bridge is always going to get alphabet D. So wherever you start, it is going to get numbering D. So you can start here also, or you can start from this nitrogen also. So it is always going to get alphabet D. So it is benzo D-imidazole. And what is missing now? Position of hydrogen. So again it is 1H. So draw heterocycle again. Now there are two possibilities of starting the numbering, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yeah.
what we said, you are going to look at this tertiary carbon and you are going to start numbering after this tertiary carbon. Is that correct? So there are two possibilities here. So let's draw both the possibilities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, in both the possibilities, the nitrogen are getting 1, comma 3. Is that correct? So what will be the differentiating factor? The
H.
position of hydrogen. So in one case, it is getting 1H. In other case, it is getting 3H. So what will be preferred? 1H.
1H.
So therefore, the name becomes 1H benzo D imidazole. So imagine if I put a substituent here, let's say methyl group here, then this system, if you follow this particular system, will be very helpful. Is that correct? Because once you define the numbering for the entire system, you will come to know that methyl group is actually at 6th position. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So it can be 6-methyl or 1H6-methyl benzo D imidazole. So that is how you have to solve these problems. Okay, so first thing you are going to do is define the bicyclic system, and then you are going to forget about this numbering. Are you with me, all of you? Whatever numbering you have given to define bicyclic system, you are going to keep it aside. Okay, once you have defined this particular part, and then you are going to draw the possibilities like this from where you can start the numbering, and then you decide where substituents are present or hydrogens are present. Is that fine? Let's take one more example of this class.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the numbering of major component is anti-clockwise. So the naming of the minor component will also be anti-clockwise. So it can be 2, 1.
They are separate. They are separate. Okay. We will see this type of case a little bit ahead. Okay. So as of now, whenever you are talking about benzene ring, you can always give it 1, 2, right? It doesn't matter because bridge is always going to get 1, 2.
Okay, sir.
Right. So there is no question of whether you invert the order or you give it in 1, 2 because bridge is always going to get 1, 2. So even if you don't write it, it's fine. That's what I said. If you are given this type of a structure, you need not worry about 1, 2 because it is always going to be 1, 2. Fine. Okay, let's do one more example. Let's take quinazoline now. And let me know the IUPAC name of this particular ring, which is quinazoline, which is a common name, but you can define the IUPAC name. Are you done?
Yeah.
So the basic scaffold is benzo, something in bracket, pyrimidine, right?
Yes, sir.
And alphabet you can start from A, B, C, D, E or A, B, C, D. So that is
D is right.
D. So benzo D, pyrimidine. Okay.
Hmm.
And now again, if you look at the quaternary carbons, if you start numbering from this carbon, besides this carbon, nitrogens are getting 2, 4. But if you start from this carbon, nitrogens are getting 1 and 3. So probably you will go anti-clockwise when you are numbering this ring. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Let's look at one last example and then we can move to heterocycle plus heterocycle. Now it is a tricyclic ring, okay? That's why I have chosen this example specifically. It is a tricyclic ring. So I hope someone can tell me the name of this tricyclic ring. Common name. Anyone? This is phenothiazine. Phenothiazine. So if you separate the 3 rings, okay? So you can draw 2 benzene rings right here. And in between phenothiazine or the thiazine ring. Yes. Is that correct? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever you have 2 benzene rings, you can put dibenzo. Okay. Something in bracket. And how will you define this particular, how will you name this particular system? The major ring? Sorry?
Thiomorpholin.
This is not thiomorpholin. Thiomorpholin is S and O. This is thiazine. And how sulfur and nitrogen are arranged? 1 and 4. Right? So this is 1, 4 thiazine. That is your basic ring. I hope all of you are understanding. INE indicates 6-membered ring. Thia-aza indicates presence of sulfur and nitrogen, and they are present as 1, 4. So this is 1, 4 thiazine. Right? Now, when you talk about alphabets, you have to see at which 2 alphabets these 2 phenyl rings are attached, correct? So you will start the numbering from sulfur because priority wise, if you remember Hansch-Widman system, sulfur gets the first priority, correct? So this bond becomes A, sorry, this bond becomes A, B, C, D, E and F. So at which 2 positions 2 phenyl rings are getting attached?
B and
B and E.
P and E.
Okay. Now, the other thing is we have to define this nitrogen, right? Because it is attached here. Proton is attached here. Okay. Now let me ask you one question. If you start numbering from say this carbon, suppose, and this carbon, two tertiary carbons are available for us to number, right? So which out of these two heteroatoms should get the lowest lowest number, sulfur or nitrogen?
Sulfur.
Sulfur should get the
Sulfur.
lowest number, right? So if you start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sulfur is getting 5. But if you start from here, sulfur will get 10. So this is the correct numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and nitrogen gets 10. So this becomes 10H dibenzo B, E 1,4 thiazine. Have you got it? All of you?
So why can't sulfur be given 1? Like we start from the middle.
So you have to take into account this by other rings also, right? So you remember case of isoquinoline? Even nitrogen is here, right? In isoquinoline, but we always start besides this tertiary quaternary carbon, right? So if you start from this carbon, nitrogen will get 3. But if you start here, nitrogen will get 2. Using the same logic, we start from this particular ring. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So in this way, we have to look at, we have to number it in such a way that sulfur gets the lowest number. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.